avoid revenue loss. These are assets that take 2 to 6 years to design and build, and then you operate them for 30, 40, 50, 60 years. So it's all about uptime, because 70% of the cost of these assets comes after they're commissioned and being operated. It's the O&M costs. So you have to be very efficient around that. It's like you take wind turbines as an example. When they start in their 8, 9, 10 years in their life cycle, that's when they start experiencing problems, and their O&M costs start to spike. So you can, how do you avoid that spike? So the asset utilization is number one. Number two is reducing O&M costs, very related. Number three is optimizing CapEx and working capital, so your capital spend. If I can use data and analytics to extend the life of my assets, then I don't have to replace them as much. It's what they call sweating your assets. You can get more out of them. So instead of having to replace a unit 2 years from now, I replace it 4 years from now. And so I don't have to deploy as much capital, and therefore I don't have to get as much of a return on that capital. And then the last one is, how do I reduce regulatory risk, health, safety, and environment risk? There are penalties associated with that. Human life, etc.
Is there a question we should have asked, Andy?
I don't know.
Because there's many, and they may or may not be important to certain people. Is there a persona that we don't do a good job speaking to? Maybe because it's unique to a particular industry we're not in yet, or that we just don't have that experience, or is there some missing link somewhere in an organisation, you think?
I mean, this may sound kind of strange, but I think of these things almost as organic systems, like a plant. Everything is connected. That's why we're taking a graph approach, because everything is connected together. It's all a system that has, it has degrees of separation, but it's all connected together. Everything. Somehow you can, maybe it's 5 degrees of separation, but it's all connected together. And so I think at a plant level, at that plant unit level and equipment level, it's I'd have to think about that. I don't know that we have enough.
Well, there's nothing that jumps out at you, so.
For some, no. It's there are only 3 things that if you boil all the shit away, there are only 3 things that any plant produces. Whatever it produces, energy, and what's the third?
Does a plant produce?
What are the 3 things that every plant produces? Doesn't matter whether it's an automobile plant.
There's a cost to the business, I guess. There's a production cost.
What are the 3 things, if you boil all the shit away, what are the 3 things that every plant produces?
Some output.
Whatever they produce.
Product.
Energy. Which they have to vent off into the data.
They produced that. Well, I thought that was a well-known thing. We didn't want to go to
data. I mean, think about it. It's not. We overcomplicate it. You got to produce something physical. You're producing energy to produce something physical, and then you got to figure out what you're going to do with that energy. Some people will wheel it back into the grid. Some gets
Okay.
But seriously, I'm being serious.
Data.
Data.